Alright guys, I got a lot of good video ideas, but I tend to get complacent with all my little tips and tricks that I do on a daily basis. So I decided the best way to show you how I grow corals as cheap and as effective as possible is to set up a brand new aquarium and take you guys along that journey. Every time I touch this aquarium, I'm gonna grab the video camera. I'll just start adding up the daily vlogs and I'll make videos once a week or something. So if this tank goes bad, you're gonna see that. When the good things happen, you're gonna see that too. I will tell you that the beginning process is gonna be ugly. Doesn't mean we can't grow corals, but there's gonna be algae and a lot of uglies in here. In time, they will go away. By adding up herbivores, it will go away. But we don't have a lot of room, so we can only set up a small aquarium on my desk. But we got good news. We are currently in the market for a studio. We are going to find a location. The back half of it, we're going to turn into a coral farm. The front half is going to be an aquarium studio full of display tanks, kind of like a mini reef builder studio. So once we get this place, we'll be able to make videos almost on a daily basis, and we'll definitely videotape everything. We'll show you how we set up the coral farms, we'll show you how we set up every display. It'll give us more opportunities to experiment with chemistry, lighting, what certain animals prefer. So the future of Stosky's Coral Box is looking exciting. And with that being said, let's build an aquarium. Alright everyone, here's the desk. We ain't got a lot of room, but we're gonna use a aqua clear power filter from Petco. We got a rimless tank from Petco. We got this on sale. I think it was like 30 bucks. Filter's probably 30, 40 bucks. We have a Night Crew Hyper Reef 50 watt LED light off Amazon.com. We also have 100 watt and 150 watts. But you have to click on the small one to get to the big ones if you're shopping on Amazon. And we got a heater off Amazon. I've yet to test this specific brand, but it feels pretty durable. I've used some cheaper ones than this, so I think this is going to work pretty well. And the tank actually comes with a glass lid. Since it's so small, we'll put a lid on it to keep evaporation in. Alright, we got it all set up. We just gotta fill it up with some water. Now I'm just gonna be taking water from one of my old systems, dumping it in here. You can use fresh water, fresh mixed salt water. Alright. Now I'm just using water from my large system here. You can use freshly mixed salt water. If you're using Red Sea, do not use the black bucket. When you're starting a new tank, only use the regular salts. Don't use the salts with elevated chemistry. Now, I did decide to use their sponge. When it gets dirty, I will throw it in the trash and I'll add filter floss that I get at Petco. And I'm using their carbon bag. I rinsed it out under regular tap water. And that's going to be our new reef tank. I forgot to show you these. I only find these on Amazon. I'm not sure anywhere else to get them. They make big power strips and they make single sockets. But basically these are Wi-Fi outlets. And any cheap piece of equipment, a cheap light, a cheap power head, that does not come with a fancy app, well, here's your app. You plug it into here, and you can now set a light cycle. You can set it to turn your wave maker on and off 100 times a day. You can, really, the possibilities are endless. If you're up having a couple beers with some buddies, you turn the lights on late at night, you can set a timer to shut them off so you don't forget. But these are amazing. These completely changed the way I do my reef tanks. They give you the ability to utilize cheap equipment. Now, also, I have been not really cooking this rock, but I bought a rock a few weeks ago, and when you buy a fresh rock, it's got all this dust and whatnot in it. And that's really the hardest part, is getting all the crud out of all the pores. So I always let mine soak for a while till you just gotta really just want it to soak to get all the crap out of the pores, all the dust. And if you can, it's always good to let it soak in a mature system so it gets little bacteria. But as long as you get bacteria in your new tank, somehow you'll be alright. Bottle bacteria is not what you want. There's products that can help a little bit, but you really want to go to a fish store and you want to buy anything with bacteria on it. A coral, a frag plug, a fish. Fish poop has lots of bacteria, unfortunately. There's a big starfish down there somewhere. But bacteria is important, but you don't need as much as they tell you. Bacteria is very good at what it does. So, as long as you put a couple small pieces of rock or corals in there, your bacteria will get kick-started. Now one thing I will do is I will squirt a bunch of ammonia in here. I got a bottle of ammonia. You can get that at probably saltwaterakquarium.com, BRS, Amazon, possibly your local fish store. But you squirt some ammonia in there, kickstart the cycle, and then you don't have to torture a fish. I mean, a lot of people throw a fish in there and they end up killing it. You don't need to do that. You can do that with basic chemistry. So anything with little bacteria, soak your rock in any kind of water for a while just to get the dust out of it, and then add ammonia. And that's the best kickstart you can do. No matter what, you're not going to get past the dirty phases. Now if you throw a ton of herbivores in here, that will help. If I throw them in there today, they would all starve to death and die. So I'm going to wait until we start seeing some gross stuff in there, and then I will add some snails or sea urchins. I have a lot of them already. There's a baby sea urchin in there, and I got a ton of snails down the big sump. I think at some point I may pull that rock out and smash it into pieces and glue it back together in the shape I'd prefer. Because right now it's not really providing any housing for animals. There's not really any caves or anything. For animal health, caves are crucial. Everybody needs their own cave. Got it completely built. We got a rock in. We discussed how we're gonna kickstart the cycle with ammonia, bacteria, getting the dust off the rock. Beginning phases, turn your light down as low as possible. And after the uglies start happening, start slowly turning your light up. But you're gonna have to add herbivores as you turn your light up, or this will get messy. But every time I touch this aquarium, I'm gonna film it. We'll put together some like daily vlogs. We'll figure it out as we go. I will be adding a float valve. Right up here, I'll be adding a float valve. I'm just gonna tie it into that extra tap on my bucket over there. I'm going to run a long line right to the top. And we can just forget about this tank. I was getting ready to add some ammonium chloride solution. And I figured I'd grab the camera. I have some Nitrobacter start, but I'm not going to use it. I want to show you guys that bacteria can do this all on its own. As long as you find a frag plug or a tiny rock, don't have to be a large piece of live rock. You find something with established bacteria on it, you put it in your system, and then you give it the fuel to replicate itself, your aquarium will take off. Now if you throw bacteria in here and don't give it any fuel, it's just gonna die. Or the bad ones will grow, not the good ones. Now I don't really care how much this I put in here, because I will do water changes before I put any animals in here. Right now, I just want to get some bacteria going. One more thing. If anybody has any suggestions on what type of corals we should put in here, let me know. We pretty much have every species coral you can think of, at least one color morph of it. So yeah, if anybody has any thoughts, if this should be like a species specific tank, if it should have all kinds of different corals in it, let us know. And we're also going to need some fish. If anybody's got a recommendation on a fish, put it in the comments. No matter what, there's going to be a baby blue tuxedo urchin and a handful of snails, probably turbos and astrias. Depending on the corals we put in here, I'll probably throw a handful of hermit crabs, blue leg or scarlet. Another thing I just thought of, these purple rocks. I love these purple rocks. I'm not sure if they're made by Carib Sea or who makes them, but these are denser material, so they're not as crumbly and dusty, or like the white market rocks or stack rocks. Any of these rocks that start off white, whatever they're made out of just crumbles into dust, and all the little pores get clogged with dust, and those take forever to cycle. You'll be 3 months just trying to get all the dust out of it. So these purple rocks, they're harder, way better. I do not care about porous. I don't care about bacteria habitats. Like Jake Adams says, your aquarium is the habitat for the bacteria. It'll grow on the walls, it'll grow on the outside of the rock. Your aquarium has enough surface area that you don't need to add it. And considering that we want nutrients to grow corals, you do not want pounds of biomedia taking those nutrients out. You'll just end up putting them back in. We're going to let our corals do the nutrient export. Alright guys, I just thought of something I thought was kind of important to share. My wash machine broke. Well, it didn't break, the plumbing got clogged and the township needs to fix this issue. So currently I cannot wash my filter socks. So, to be honest, I forgot about them and they just been sitting in my tank dirty, overflowing. And now this system's nutrients is about 75. And I will admit, once my nitrates get up to about 80, 75, 80, I do like to start actively trying to bring them down. I will either start carbon dosing on a very small level, but first I'll fix the issue. I believe it was just that my filter socks were disgusting and dirty, so I took them off. We have no more filter socks. We're gonna run without filter socks until the plumbing issue is resolved. So you do not have to have filter socks. And this proves if you are not going to clean them twice a week, at minimum more than likely, do not use them. You'd be better off not using filter socks than have dirty socks in your water. They're just adding to your nitrates. So if your nitrates are low, keep that in mind. Dirty filter sock will bring them up. I completely forgot about something, guys. Normally, when I buy cheap tanks, all reef tanks, they paint the back glass black, or the side up against the wall, they'll paint that black. Well, a cheap tank, they're not black, so I always go to the store and just buy regular flat black spray paint, and I'll spray paint the back of the tank or the side up against the wall. On this, I kind of regret not painting the side wall and the back wall black. So when you look in, you wouldn't see the wires, the filter, and it gives the tank and corals a little bit more contrast. So I'm gonna kick it around, and if the next time you see this tank, it's got black walls, you know I spray painted it. But I don't know if I feel like ripping it all apart. Maybe when we move into the studio, we'll paint all the tanks, because none of these are painted. I did not know that trick when I first started. Bye.